Hello, everybody. This is Monkeypuzzle, and welcome to another episode. Today, as I promised in my last Feed the Beast video, we are on my vanilla server, Axis Mundi. Still haven't finished my birthday cake from previously. I don't think I showed you this one. I showed you another present I got. Another kid named Conditional Bliss, his username, left me some cake, which I'm still trying to finish. This is my little homie home here. It's real simple, just a little glass dome, enough to keep the bad guys out. Not that too many bad guys make it up here at this point. Um, and let me see, some chests and some furnaces. Here's my little downstairs. This was a natural cave. Some storage and some potion making. And, whoops, down here, another level. Some of you may have seen this already. Some may not have. May have not. Where'd my books go? Someone's been taking my books. I haven't been on here for a while, so I'm finding things here and there that need to be fixed. These are some little X-ray devices to see what's going on down below. Ooh, what's that? Trim vines on jungle treehouse. Oh, this is a note I left to myself, a little bulletin board. Anyway, for those, oh, actually, there's a new thing down here too. It's a little storage room that haven't even really put to use yet. Trying to keep everything kind of cave-like and natural. I got my little not so secret door right there that just almost suffocated me. You can barely see it from right there. The kids all know it's there, but it's just fun to have a pretend secret door and a little secret window to look out, see what's going on. Made that last time too. I gotta find one of these episodes to put the footage of that in. I love making these little mushroom forts. Anyway, today I'm back on here, getting back on the server. I'm newly inspired by the fact that Vechs's Inferno Mines is sort of out almost. There's 3 YouTube LPers playing it right now, the beta version, and it's not released to the public yet. But I really love playing the super hostile maps. I love really the survival aspect and the vanilla part of that. And I think, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Need to get back in touch with my combat skills without quantum armor and jetpacks and stuff. So I'm going to come back here and we're going to work on that today. We may not get all the way there today because I've got some technical stuff I want to do that I'm going to show you. But I was starting to explain for folks who don't know, this server I started for my 9-year-old son, Nilorio, who you've seen in some of the episodes. Very proud of him, very, very smart kid. We work really well together as a team doing this. We have a lot of fun. And he wanted to get online on servers, and there's so many people who just don't know how to handle themselves. It's like this kid's looking game, even though I know it's cool enough to keep adults like myself interested, but people cussing and being inappropriate and all these anarchy servers where you're just trying to kill one another and all that, which, has its place, but thought I'd start a server to make a safe place for him online, with him and his buddies. So I'm mainly on here with him and a whole bunch of kids around his age from his school and stuff. So I'm not against playing with other adults on here, but the fact is that I actually don't know that many adults in real life who play Minecraft. I only see people on YouTube doing it, so most of my peer group is not playing Minecraft, unfortunately, or fortunately for them, one way or another. I'm not sure which one it is. But yeah, and anybody I bring on here, it's got to be safe. I've made a lot of promises to the parents of the kids who are on there that this is going to be a safe space. So I get a lot of requests online like, can I join your server? And it's like, I don't know. I need to know who you are so that I can feel safe if you're on with my kid and his friends and stuff like that. Anyway, that aside, main thing I want to work on today, This is a mob spawner that I made. And this one, I have a couple that are on my own design, but this one isn't. I've put a few tweaks on it, but this is by Monkey Farm. No relation besides our simian ancestry. Another good monkey. But he made one called Mobs on Demand, which I kind of modified a little bit for this. And it's been our little experience grinder down there. But what I want to do with it today, I got to do a few technical tweaks on it to make it work a little bit better, and I'll get into that in a minute. But for a long time, I've been talking about having it feed into this arena. We got rules on the server for the kids: no griefing, no cussing, and no killing other players unless you agree to a duel. And this was the main place for it, this arena, which we've just started modifying already for this purpose. Uh, Basically, I want to funnel the mobs that come from here. Right now, it's pretty much turned off, so you'll only see the occasional mob dropping right now because it doesn't turn off completely at the moment. But I want to funnel them into here and be able to battle mobs in here. Just put some leather armor on and a stone sword, maybe a bow and arrow. But keep it real simple and just get used to running around and staying alive and fighting them without really fancy gear, and also getting used to dying too, so that get over the fear of that. So it's a small space. It would be nice to have a bigger one, but working with them in close quarters is actually pretty important too, because in a lot of Vechs's maps, you end up in these small corridors or rooms with mobs, and you got to deal. And most of the time, the panic is the thing that keeps you from dealing well with them. So just getting used to it over and over again, I think, is going to really help a lot with my reaction time when it comes time to when that map is released to the public. So there's a few things I want to do on this. I got to put some controls in here for the player or players inside, so they can raise and lower this block here. So that they can get in and out, but it's really important if we're putting mobs in here that they're not able to get out, so we don't have creepers running around town blowing things up and so on. And eventually I want to make a sorter system. I don't think I'm going to get to it today because I have some other things to do, but a sorter system so you can press a button or pull a lever and you can get creepers or zombies or skeletons at will, whoever you want to fight in here. And unfortunately, I didn't make this so it spawns spiders, so we won't have them. But spiders aren't the worst issue anyway. We could make other spawning systems below that spiders can come in from the sides or something like that. We'll get to that. But so yeah, the order of the day is fix this up, and then I got some technical stuff I need to do to make this work right, and I'll get into that in a second. But first, I got another little fun challenge over here that I got from Vechs as well. He had, I don't know if he still does, he probably does, he had a little super hostile training map that went along with his other maps. And this was one I thought was cool. I set it up here so that the kids can try it too. The water bucket climbing challenge. Can you make it all the way up with just a water bucket? So if you've got to the point where you've found 3 pieces of iron, oh, I got one on me, and you've got some water, you can climb any vertical surface with just that. And I just wanted to get back in the swing of that. Let's try it and see how I do. So once the water comes down, you can climb on up, just pressing spacebar, and just as you get to the block, you can grab it and set it up a little higher. And if you do it right, you don't lose a whole lot of altitude while you're doing it. It takes the water a little time to go away. Sometimes you drop down a little bit, but there'll always be a little water below you. So I didn't remember how hard this was going to be. Whoa! But just thought I'd get back into practice of it. Because using water scaffolding often can come in handy in these maps. And getting good at it can keep you from falling off into the void or something like that. Whoa! And losing all your hard-earned gear. So I'm not doing this as gracefully as I could, but that's why I set it up for practice. Let me get back in that stream and going back up. Now it's coming down. But I can replace it and keep sending it back up. Ooh, okay. Anyway, practicing, and I'll get back to you when I get near the top. Come on. Where is it? Whoa. It's not dropping. That's really interesting. Okay, something's going on here. Why is that not dropping? So I don't have it in the bucket. It's right up there. That's really strange. Interesting. I'm going to have to get another bucket to go up and get that one. I think I'm almost there, unless that's the cloud cover. I think it's right there. Is that it? No, it was the clouds. Okay. Let me get back in the stream here. And grab that source block again. Okay, I think I'm almost at the top. I almost got a rhythm with this. The trick is grabbing it and placing it quick enough so you don't lose the ground that you just gained. And then at the top, getting up here without falling over the side or being pushed off that way. So okay, met that challenge. I'll keep working on that. The other part of it is, let's grab that, is also just practicing hanging on the sides of streams like this, so you can use them and go up and down, and still breathe. A lot of times you need to hang off the void and place something underneath or whatever, so just working with water scaffolding is great. This is coming down, but it takes a lot longer to come down than it takes me to come down. Anyway, this is also why I put this over this little pool of water. Nowadays it only takes one block width of water or depth, I guess, to keep you from falling or from hurting yourself. Anyway, I will meet you over there in a second. I wanted to pick this up because this is not supposed to be here. Yeah, so this is mostly turned off right now. And the idea is that the mobs fall enough that they're mostly a one-hit kill down here. The zombies can be a bit more than that. It's because they've got their equivalent, their invisible leather armor on them. But one of the reasons it's not totally turned off is why we need to go deal with it. Yeah, so I could just go caving to fight mobs, but I want to fight a lot of mobs and just be in like a comfortable, unusually dense situation, because that's what a lot of the super hostile is about, is fighting mobs beyond the normal spawning amounts, or spawning amounts that are manipulated by having limited spawning spaces, and that so they spawn in inordinate amounts. So we're going to kind of recreate that here using this. Okay, so there's some skellies in there. As long as there isn't a creeper. This is supposed to be turned off right now. And part of the problem is that I use dispensers for the water here. It's a flushing system. And they spawn and they get flushed off. And the dispensers get out of sync no matter what I do. And that's the problem. So we have all these dispensers getting out of sync. They're on when they're supposed to be off, or off when they're supposed to be on. And it's just a pain in the butt because it really lowers the efficiency, and it also decreases the safety. Like right now I shouldn't have to deal with any mobs. All those water streams should be on. And every time I log on to the server, if I want to use this thing, basically I have to go on and go floor by floor. Woo! And a creeper would be bad news. Let's get over here. And go floor by floor and fix it. And fix each of these manually. I think they all fell off there. Once we get a little higher... Whoa! Somebody blew up. I hope I don't have too much to fix there. Okay. Hopefully he was standing in some water when that happened. But that's good case in point. Yeah, so what is going on here is I'll show you inside in a minute, but there's a dispenser here that turns on and off. Generally, what's happening when this thing is functioning is that the dispensers are off and they get a signal in rotation that turns them on one at a time and flushes each of these 4 spawning pads in here that I can't show you quite yet. Um, and then on the sides of them, there's pistons. There's a piston here, and there's a piston there, and there's a piston over there. And those pistons, when they're engaged like this, they push a block down that then hits a redstone torch that's right under there, and it passes the signal to the redstone that's on top of there, which then gives a signal to the dispenser. So we got to take these dispensers out. I'm going to replace them with pistons. As a matter of fact, let me take you up to the top where I've actually started this process, and then you'll be able to see much better what I'm doing. So we'll go up to the top floor here, and I've already got this all lit up and opened up so you can safely see what's going on. Basically, each floor has got these 4 triangular pads for spawning, and then there's a nice drop down here, all the way down there, where the mobs collect. And let's see, can I get him? Actually, pretty convenient if I can get rid of him just now. There we go. The vines are to reset their fall so that when I get them all the way down there, and they fall in water streams too, they've hopefully taken no damage, and then I can drop them a really measured amount so they all have half a heart at the bottom. The buttons just stop the vines from growing. And then, yeah, the pistons, or excuse me, the dispensers were here to release the water. Now I'm changing it to pistons that there's going to be a water source block up here. The piston will be extended by default. And then when it's this pad's turn to flush, or actually this whole column of pads, we got 7 floors right now, it'll turn on and it'll flush all the mobs off this one, turn off, and then do the same over there and over there and over there, and it should work just fine. I think pistons are going to be way more reliable than the dispensers. The dispensers seemed very convenient, but now at this point I'm not convinced. They're very finicky, and like I said, they get out of sync. I had them inverted so they only needed 1 signal instead of 2 for those of you experienced using dispensers and water buckets, but even that didn't work. Pistons glitch out sometimes, but they can be reset easily enough, and you basically know if they're supposed to be open or closed as long as you don't have some kind of buzz switch happening. So I'm going to do most of this off camera. I'm just trying not to fall in that hole right there. Let me take you up to the top real quick though, and just show you what's making this all work. And this is more complicated than it's going to need to be now, because let me see, let me actually turn the sound down so I don't have to shout over the rain. But yeah, I made it more complicated trying to make it work and keep things from going out of sync. But basically in the middle here, and I'm not going to turn it on right now because I'm going to mess things up. I'll show you at the end. But this is just a piston clock that pushes a circle, or a squarish circle, of mostly glass blocks with these 2 wood blocks right here. There's a signal coming from this redstone in the center, and whenever the wood blocks come around, they block the signal, and each of these 4 signals go down the sides and activate each column of pads. And when the signal's on by default and when it's off, it then causes the flush to happen. And I did all this other stuff here. Oops, didn't make it up. Like this is this complicated 4-way AND gate so that the thing would never stop when the wood blocks were blocking, and I thought that would keep it from going out of sync, but it didn't. And I also hooked it up to these redstone lamps up here so the thing would blink every time it was flushing, just to give it more interest and stuff. But anyway, that's gonna be able to go, I think, when we're done. And this over here is just what they call a monostable circuit. Basically, when this gets a signal, it turns this off for a second, and there's a delay here, and so just this turns on just for an instant, which is enough. I can set how many ticks it goes on for. So it just sends a very short signal, a very short pulse that goes around and round, and that's what activates the pistons for the piston clock here. Anyway, that's a lot of redstone talk for something that's supposed to be an action training adventure for killing mobs. But anyway, this is where the mobs are gonna come from. So last bit of talk, all this is I'm just changing this around so that I can send the signal all the way down again. And I'm taking out the pistons for the downward signal, even though I like them, because I couldn't work it out around this piston. Pistons are very sensitive to becoming a bud switch. So if there's any power uh, diagonal to them anywhere up here, they will stay extended until they get a signal, or vice versa, or I mean a blocked update. So I just had to eliminate that entirely, and instead we're going to send the signal down this way, where it comes down here when it's on, which will be most of the time, and that'll be extended, and that turns this off, which will then turn this off, which turns that on, which sends the signal down to the next piston right here. So that activates that, that will activate that, and that should send the signal all the way down. This is basically a classic way to send a redstone signal down. It doesn't have to be 2 blocks wide, but I just did that for symmetry. So hopefully that all made sense. Tried to explain that as quickly as I could, but as thoroughly. But if you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments and so on. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change out each of these floors. I've done 2. I got to go in, light them up, make sure there's no mobs, take out the dispensers, put in the pistons, and then each side make it so the redstone signal can make its way all the way down. And then when we're done, our reward will be a nice, reliable source of mobs that we can then pump into the arena and fight. Okay, see you in a bit. So I got all the levels opened up. I've got all the dispensers replaced with pistons. Now I'm just going ahead and making the redstone signal be able to go down. One of the things that's important about this design is that pistons are transparent blocks. They transmit light, so it's really important that they be blocked entirely by another block. That means I can't have a torch behind it inverting it to keep it open most of the time, because that would let light level 7 in, which isn't enough to stop mob spawns, but it is enough to slow them down. So we want full efficiency, which is why we have to, one of the reasons why we have to do it like this. Anyway, I'm slowly getting this down to a pattern, and we'll be working my way down. Okay. Alright, I think it's working. I've got them all done. I didn't put the water in yet. That one just retracted. Now it's going to unretract, and this one should retract next for those 2 wood blocks worth. This is when this would be flushing, and then it goes back out, and that one is going to retract, and that would flush. So we just keep flushing round and round. So I think that's success. I can turn it all back off again, which I could do right here if I had a lever. I'll do it upstairs. Yeah. And now I just have to go and put the water in each one of those spaces, and it should be fully functional, and take the glowstone out. So cross my fingers that we got it right. And oh yeah, now you can see this in operation. Just pushing the blocks around in a circle, and every time that these wood blocks get to one of these 4 sides, like right now, turns off the signal, which will turn on the water. Okay, so let's turn it all off, and we'll see if everything turned off properly. Now, oops, that's what not to do. Let's see if I can get back out of here. Oh, oh, back in here. Oh, let's go down there. That's better. Now, if it works right, every one of these pistons should be retracted, and then all the water would be on. So that's good. I think it's working. This one's just lacking its hole that would go right there. But yeah, I think it's good to go. So to finish this very last part, on each one of the floors, I put a chest that had the 4 buckets that were in the dispensers. So I've got water, and this last part's going to be a little tricky putting the water in, and it's going to kind of get all over the place, but I think it'll be alright. Let's see how it goes. For each floor, I got to go ahead and reclaim the glowstone. Let me just grab that real quick. I'm just going to show you this one as a demo. Oh, down there. I'll grab it in a bit. And it'll also all get flushed down to the bottom too as I go. So this is going to need water, and that is going to need that, which just created a whole bunch of damage. Okay, so that is not how to do that. I gotta go fix what I did and come up with a better way. Okay, so for each of these floors, there's this one extra step to prevent that from happening. Is you just got to put a lever there, and that turns that on, extends it. You can reach in there and put the water, block it up first, and then knock the lever off, and you got it. And I want to leave these in an on state, or with the piston off, or not extended, so that mobs won't be spawning up here. I use these slabs because they do keep all the light out, and they allow me to see inside, but they do add that element of risk for creepers seeing you, which I don't have to do, but I like it. So there we go. Grab our water bucket, stick it in, block it off, knock it off. Okay, I gotta do that on 6 more floors. I wanted to have this thing have more levels, so I'd get more spawning, but right now I'm glad it's only 7. And that should be it. If I'm lucky, I now have the improved mob farm. So we'll see. The last thing I gotta do is turn it back on. Now I'm a little afraid. I probably shouldn't show you guys this until I'm sure it works. But let's go for it. We're just gonna be confident and assume that it's gonna work great. Okay, so the piston clock starts right up. The little 4-way AND gate that keeps it from stopping when any of these are turned off shouldn't really hurt anything. The monostable circuits seem to work fine. Alright, stop talking and go check it out. So what should be happening is one of these turning on at a time. So we've got that one on over there. Now that should turn off, and this one should turn on. Yep, and that should be happening in unison in this whole column. Let's check it out, see if it's working, say, down here. Now I've been pretty close. It shouldn't have too many mob spawns yet, so it should be safe to check it out. Yeah, that one's on, and now it's off, and we should get that one next. Woohoo! Okay, so let me go downstairs and see if I can grind mobs for a while. Now let me get my ender chest here, and I can use the experience to fix my efficiency pick. I found one of the things I have to do to get the spawns jump started Got a lot of entities down here. And the same thing up here. Yeah, I think that helped a lot. Okay, got 29 experience. Time to fix this one. My killer driller. My killer driller. I know it's cheesy. And the get back. Uh, ooh, okay. Gonna need more for that. Alright, folks, I wanted to get further today, but I knew this little bit of homework here that I've been putting off would take a little while. But that's done. Finished the more technical aspect, and we have our supply of mobs. Definitely a good supply for what we want to do. So this is part one of the super hostile survival training. Part two, next time we will revamp the arena here. We'll do a little bit of stuff here, make it a little bit better, put some controls in so that the person inside can single-handedly control the flow of mobs in and open and close the exits, and then we'll do some mob battling just with the random flow. And then part three, we'll put a mob sorter in, and that will allow us to fight different kinds of mobs at will. So we'll get there, and I'll think of other things too to do. And if you have any ideas of things that would lend to the training, please suggest them. They can be on this server. I don't want to start any lengthy maps because I want to be ready when the next one comes out, but if there's something really short, we could try to tackle that too, just as part of the training. Anyway, this has been Monkeypuzzle. I hope you enjoyed this return to our vanilla server, and I will see you next time. Here.